This is your start task for today. We're going to be practicing some oil pastel techniques. You're going to need your oil pastels. You're also going to need some cotton buds, or if you haven't got cotton buds, just a piece of tissue will do, or several pieces of tissue will do, or kitchen roll. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start just working from box to box, completing the technique that is listed underneath. I would like you to get out your yellow, your red and your orange oil pastels to start with, as they're going to be the colours that we're going to use in the actual final piece. So we're going to start off with red and we're going to use it in the light pressure. So with the light pressure, you're going to just start just using a very light pressure. Start in the top left hand corner of the box, coming all the way down, and you can see that there are lots of white gaps in mine. Going to be as neat as we possibly can. We don't need to do too much, we just need to fill that box. So pause the video here and just apply the light pressure blending. Okay, into box 2. We're still going to use just one colour at this stage, and I'm going to still use my red, but this time you're going to apply just using a very heavy pressure. So I want you to again start in that top left hand corner of the box, but this time you're going to move down your box using a very heavy pressure, making sure that there are no gaps. Now you can see in mine that my oil pastel wasn't very clean. That's because I've been doing other drawings with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back over those areas where I've left a little bit of black on there and just remove that. So I would like you to fill in your heavy pressure box now, please. Okay, so we're now into box number 3, which is our colour mixing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a red to a yellow, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with in the top left hand corner again, as I did before, and I'm going to apply a very heavy pressure, and I'm going to come around about halfway, and I'm just going to stop around about there. And what I'm going to do then from there is I'm going to use the yellow, starting in the bottom right corner, coming up towards the red, again applying in a very heavy pressure. I'm just going to overlap just ever so slightly in the middle, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of a cotton bud and just using a circular motion, I'm just going to try and blend those together. You have to use quite a lot of pressure just to blend those two colours and create a gradual transition between the two. Okay, so pause the video and complete the colour mixing. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again. Now we're into box number 3, which is blending with oil. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply again a heavy pressure with the red, just down towards the middle, and then same with the yellow, up again. You can see that mine's leaving lots of those reds and those oranges from the last time I used them. That's not a problem though. I'm just going to, okay, and then I'm going to overlap ever so slightly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white, and using a very heavy pressure and a circular motion, I'm going to just start blending those together, which will create a pink one side and a very light yellow on the other side. And I'm just going to start blending all 3 together, and create as smooth a transition as possible between the red and the yellow. So pause the video here and complete the blending with white task. Okay, we're not going to do the blending with oil because I'm not sure that everybody's going to have that at home. So we're going to go on to the blending 3 warm colours. Now thankfully we've got our yellows, our reds and our orange. What I'm going to do is we're going to start with our lightest colour. So we're going to start with our lightest tone this time, and we're going to start just in that top left hand corner with just applying our yellow. And again, I'm going to come down roughly to about halfway, just with the yellow, and then I'm going to apply my red. But this time I'm not going to overlap. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap in the middle, not much of one, just a small gap, and I'm going to use my mid-tone, or my orange in this case, and that's what I'm going to use to just overlap either side. And then the last thing I'm going to do, once all 3 colours are overlapped, is just use my cotton bud again, or tissue. Don't use your finger. The natural oils in our skin do not combine well with the oil pastels, and it kind of creates for a bit of a rubbish blend. But you can see that by using the cotton bud, I'm just going to turn that over and start using a cleaner area. It creates a nice smooth transition between all 3 colours. Again, because mainly today we're looking at warm colours with our flower studies, we're not going to look at the blending 3 colours today, but essentially the principle is exactly the same. We're going to move down to the second row now, and we're going to look at stippling. So as we know, stippling essentially is a series of dots. So what I want you to do is, using your red to begin with, you're going to create quite a tight stippling effect in the top right hand corner, eventually expanding out and then just working back into those areas to create a mixed tone going from dark to light if possible. Okay, so pause the video there and have a go at that. Okay, sgraffito. So sgraffito essentially is a technique whereby you use a blunt object to fetch away the top layer of oil to reveal something below it. So what I'm going to do first is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my three warm tone colours. So exactly like I did in the blending box up the top. So I've applied my darkest tone, which is my red, my lightest tone, which is my yellow, and then my mid-tone, which is my orange, somewhere in the middle. Blend all those together. I'm not going to use the oil pastel the cotton bud this time though. I'm going to use the black. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top with quite a thick layer of black, all the way over the top, making sure that I cover as much as I possibly can, and then using just a blunt object, so this is basically a cotton bud stick with the end cut off it, and all I'm going to do there is I'm just going to slice away the top layer. So I'm using a fairly heavy pressure, but I'm not pressing down so hard that it fetches everything away, and I'm just going to get rid of some of that black, taking care to clean it off as I go, and you can create some nice cool patterns. Okay, so have a go at the Sgraffito one yourselves. So pause the video here and fill in the Sgraffito box. Okay, so last few boxes we're going to use now are, we're going to go with scratch art. So scratch art essentially is the same sort of principle. So I'm going to create again my, I'm just going to do two colours this time. So I'm going to go orange and red. So I've got my dark tone and my mid tone. And then using the same technique as I did with the Sgraffito, I'm just going to scratch away and try and reveal some of that paper behind. But the great thing about what you can do with your scratch art is that you can create elements of tone and texture while still maintaining the colours that you desire. So have a go at that, try and create something unusual, try and create something different in the scratch art box. So the next one we're going to do is the highlight with white and the shadow with black. So you can see I'm going to concentrate on just the orange for this box. You can see that I've already added an area of orange, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the white using a circular motion again, lots and lots of pressure in the same spot, and I'm going to create an area of highlight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly start to ease the pressure as I come away from that highlight spot, making sure to maintain that deep area of highlight, create a big spot of highlight using the white. And then I'm going to use my trusty cotton bud again to just blend that out and create an area of highlight within my orange. Now what's really important is to just be careful if you get your oil pastel covered in lots and lots of colour like mine is there, just use a spare bit of paper, a bit of tissue, just to fetch those bits off. And again, just go back to it then. You have to apply some real strong pressure and then just blend that away. Okay, so have a go at the highlight using the white box now. So pause the video there, have a bash at that one yourself. Okay, the last one we're on to is creating our shadows with using our black. So I'm going to repeat the same process as I did in the previous box. I'm going to create an area of orange to begin with, using just my orange oil pastel. Now the thing you'll notice straight away is I don't have to put half as much pressure, anywhere near as much pressure as I did with the white. For the black is a lot stronger. However, I'm going to try and create the same sort of area. So I've created the black deep shadow, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my cotton bud again, just in a circular motion, just blending it out from the center using lots of tiny little circles. And then as you get further away from the black, it will naturally start to blend back into the orange. So once you've completed that, just put it all to one side and head back into the live lesson.